This is an Icon Ministry production with the support of our ministry partners and donors.
God still speaks. The problem is that we are not expectant of God speaking to us. We don't expect Him to speak to us, so we don't listen. But God is speaking. And not for your own sake, not for your entertainment, not even for your consolation and for your peace. But very often God speaks for the sake of others. I'm speaking especially to mothers here, to mamas. You pray for your children, day in, day out. Maybe you fast for your children. But one thing that we need to encourage you to do is to listen for your children. Because God is speaking to you. He's giving you visions. He's giving you direction. He's giving you wisdom to invest in the lives and the hearts and the souls of your children. But you need to pray. You need to ask. You need to stop. You need to listen. When I was at my worst time as a teenager, my mother was praying for me. But even though she was praying and crying to the Lord for my conversion, she would spend time listening. And during that time listening, God would speak to her heart and say, hey, it's going to be okay. I've got this one. I've got this. So my mother would pray into that. She would pray into the vision. She knew because she sensed in her heart that one day, not only was I going to change, but I was going to be an instrument to change and to help others become like Jesus. For some reason, she knew it, even though I didn't know it. So she prayed into that. Not only did she pray for my conversion, which was one of the things she prayed for, but she started to pray for my vocation. And you'd think, how is this addict, how is this person who is so far away from God even able to consider the priesthood? Well, because my mother saw something that I didn't. She saw something in her heart, in her life. After I had my turnaround in my life, when I decided to return to the Lord, my mom sat me down. Now, she sat me down and she talked to me about a vision, an image she had had of me when I was at my worst moment. And you'd think, she'd be seeing things of me being broken free from this addiction, but it was a very strange vision. And as she sat me down, she said, Rob, I saw a picture of you. I saw a picture of you in a circle with young people. Now, I didn't like young people because I was so anxious at that point. I was so angry at so many of my friends and of all the things that had happened to me in my life. But she said, Rob, I see a picture of you with young people in a circle. And in that circle, you are holding a guitar, which again was strange because at that point, I'd never touched a guitar. I'd never played a guitar. I'd never played music. Now, for those who do know, I travel around the world playing music with a guitar. And she said, not only this, Rob, she said, I see a picture of you in a black shirt with a white collar, in a circle with young people and holding a guitar. To be honest, at that point, I got furious. I got angry. I'm thinking, I don't want to be a priest. What are you saying that I should be a priest? And she said, Rob, calm down. She said, I'm just telling you what I saw. I could be wrong, but this is what I saw. You know what? I forgot about this. I repressed this memory because I really didn't want to be a priest. But when it came time for me to discern the priesthood, when the Lord spoke to me, not to my mom, when the Lord spoke to me and convicted me and showed me and called me to the priesthood, this was the greatest affirmation ever. While I was going through the seminary, I kept thinking about that image that my mother had and working with young people. I didn't see how it was going to be possible, but in hindsight, this is exactly what happened. As mamas, you have the power to pray, the authority to pray for your children, but also to have visions and dream dreams for your children and to pray them into this. For some, this may be strange. I know, I understand. But understand your authority. Understand that God is speaking to you also on behalf of your children, especially if you're close to the Lord.
This production is only made possible because of the generous support of Icon Ministry partners and donors. Please go to iconministry.com/support to make a donation.